Hello, everyone. Welcome to the call. My name is Shay Shiva. I am the creator of Web3 Sonic. This is our Sonic Web3 smart contract on the Sonic Labs blockchain. I'm not the one that created the smart contract, but I'm helping build the ecosystem around the Sonic blockchain. We're very, very excited about Sonic. Sonic is an upgrade from the Phantom network. And we're very, very excited with this project and everything that they're doing. It's truly a revolutionary EVM layer one blockchain, right? We haven't seen an EVM layer one blockchain since BNB, right? A really good one, right? There's other smart contract platforms out there, right? Like Solana that's doing really well, right? But they can't do smart contracts because they're not an EVM layer one blockchain, right? And we have some other ones, right? Optimism, doing some cool things with OPBNB, right? But layer two solutions have a dependency, right? There's always a risk there that the token that they're depending on, right, for their blockchain to work, right? They could be an issue, right? So you want to have a layer one blockchain. It's a single point of failure, right? And what makes Sonic so exciting is the transaction fees, right? And when it comes to smart contracts, right, where you're dealing with millions and millions of transactions potentially per day, right? Those transaction fees are very, very important. And right, Sonic is currently the fastest EVM layer one blockchain. And that's not Sonic saying that, right? That's third parties saying that, right? Testing Sonic's full potential. And we are currently the fastest layer one blockchain, right? From finality to up to 10,000 transactions per second, but potentially over 300,000 transactions per second, right? Is what Sonic's max throughput, right, is currently at, right? For an EVM layer one blockchain that's unheard of, right? And one of the amazing things that Sonic does that they're doing differently than every other blockchain is that they're focused on the development on the blockchain. So they give 90% of the transaction fees back to the developers, right? No other blockchain is doing that, right? No, we have zero competition in the EVM layer one space in terms of technology. Right now, it is a new token. It's only 3 months old, right? So a lot of people haven't heard about it, and that's one of the advantages that we have, right? Is first mover advantage, right? And that's one of the reasons why we created this platform and this smart contract was to share with you some of the cool things that are happening on the blockchain in the DeFi space and also in the AI space, right? So one of the things that we've introduced to this platform is AI agents, right? So every level that you activate in this smart contract is going to have an AI agent assigned specifically to you that you can train, right? And help you build your business and anything else that you need, right? The AI can help you. It's connected to multiple different AI backends, right? From Chat GPT, OpenAI, right? DeepSeek, right? The Google one, whatever, Gemini, lots of different AI agents, right? That are going to be integrated into this platform. What you see when you first get invited to the to Web3 Sonic, right? Is the smart contract. That's how we get paid. And that's the most important part, right? Because once you understand how that works, once you understand get what it really means to be paid instantly, right? What it means to tap into multiple digital assets on the Sonic blockchain from Bitcoin to Ethereum, right? To multiple different projects, right? That you can use to multiply your portfolio, right, with this platform. So the smart contract is just the foundation, right? It's how you get paid for sharing the platform with other people. And we built this to be 100% payout, right? So you get 100% payout on all your odd referrals, right? So your first, your third, your fifth, right? And I'll go into the presentation in more detail in a second. But just a quick overview, right? There's 10 levels in the smart contract. Starts off with 5 Sonic, right? Currently, the price of Sonic is right around 50, 55, somewhere around there, cents, right? For one Sonic, right? So less than $2, $3 to activate level one. And then each level doubles from there, right? So level 2, level 3, level 4, it's 40 Sonic and then 80 Sonic, right? For level 5. Now we recommend that you start off with those first 5 levels, right? The cost is 155 Sonic, right? So a little over $100, right? For you to activate that position. It's a one-time activation, and then you own this smart contract, right? It's connected to your wallet, and then you can start sharing it with other people, right? And you can start building your network, right? So I wanted to create something that I could build, right? Something that I felt, if I was building something, how I would want it to be built, right? And you guys have that same opportunity coming in, right? You get to leverage everything that we've built into this platform, all the cool technology, right? And right now we've only implemented probably, I'd say, about 5% of it, the technology that we're waiting, or it's just a matter of time, right? We've had some technical issues. We've upgraded the back end, built in some redundancy to the platform, right? This is a smart contract, right? It's not a website, right? The website is just a front end. It's just providing you with information on how the system works, right? And then once you activate your smart contract, you can log in with your wallet using a Web3 wallet. And then once you're logged into the dashboard, you can see what's going on, right? You can track all your referrals, track how much Sonic you're making, right? And you can see how your team and your network is growing, right? So lots of cool technology. I'm a computer engineer by by trade for the last 30 years of my life, right? I've been in IT since I was 20. I'm aging myself now, but that tells you how long I've been in this space, right? And I got into smart contracts back in 2018, blockchain technology. I am a certified blockchain developer now, working on just improving my skill set and building amazing things on the blockchain, right? So we built a mobile app, right? That's our foundation that we're going to deploy to the App Store, right? The Play Store and the Apple Play Store. We are still ironing out the kinks, waiting for approval from Android, right? It's a lengthy process, right? It is a crypto wallet, right? So there's a lot of hoops that we have to jump through to get that approved. But the app is available for Android. You can download it on your phone. You will get a warning because you're not installing it from the App Store. But the app is fully functional. The wallet is integrated into the system, right? And we are getting ready to really start, rolling out that. Hopefully, this is the first presentation of Web3 Sonic, right? I will have this presentation up on the website so you guys can share it. But each of these links here, right, will take you to a
Over
video
$34
that
billion
explains
on
how the platform works, right? The video that we're recording right now will replace this one, right? So that'll pop in here, right? But you can watch any of these videos in here, and it'll explain how the platform works, right? I need to update these 2 videos. We did a lot of changes. But when you come in here and you click get started, that takes you into our smart contract platform, right? And you can go ahead and log in and get started there. This is our mobile app. This is the web-based version of it, right? So it explains the levels, and we share information here, right, about the entire platform, right? It's a training platform. It allows you to stay updated, right? Tap into all the different products, right? Learn how to use the AI, right? Share content. You can share videos. You can join the different groups. And so there's over 100+ features that you get access to for free when you join this platform, right? That's going to educate you on Web3, DeFi, right? And keep you safe from all the scams out there, right? Most of us who've been in the crypto space, we've lost so much money when it comes to scams, right? And usually what it involves is you sending money to the company, right? And then they're gonna pay you 1%, 2%, 3% per day, or some nonsense like that, right? We try to stay away from those platforms, right? They advertise themselves as staking platforms, right? But they're not smart contracts, right? So, and even when they are smart contracts, sometimes the owner has access to that wallet, right? One of the things you'll notice with our smart contract is we don't hold anything in the smart contract, right? Everything that comes in is instantly paid out 100%, right? Nothing, there's no admin fee, there's nothing like that, right? So this is our foundational smart contract, right? As we continue to add additional assets, right? We are getting ready to add a stablecoin version to the platform, right? Because a stablecoin is very, very important when it comes to locking in your gains, right? So that you can, potentially come back in at a lower price, right? Because nothing goes straight up, right? Things tend to move in a cycle up and down, right? And it's very important that, when the market is selling off, right, and everyone else is panicking, that's when you're looking for opportunities to buy, right? When the market's going sideways, you just hold, you don't make any moves. And when it's going up, right? And it starts to break new highs, that's when you sell, right? And then you look for an opportunity to come back in. So a stable coin is very, very important. We do have a stable coin version deployed on the OPBNB blockchain, right? But that's a layer 2 blockchain, and we're moving we're kind of focusing more on the layer 1 blockchain, right? There's a lot more upside potential on a layer 1 blockchain, right? So since we've deployed back in December, we've been focused on the layer 1 blockchain. But this website has everything that you need, right, in order to utilize this platform, right? You can log into your points dashboard. There's an airdrop going on right now that's going to start to pay out in June, right? That airdrop is currently valued at over $200 million, right? That's the current value of that airdrop. It could potentially, well, actually, it's 200 million Sonic tokens, right? So it's currently valued at around $100 million, right? USD. That number could potentially go upwards to close to $1 billion, right? Within the next year. And it's a phased rollout, right? So you're not getting all of it, right? In June, right? Some of it is going to go into staking assets on the platform, right? But this proof of stake business model, right? Holding assets, right, is what we believe in, that consensus mechanism, right? Proof of work, right, is how the miners and the validators have been ripping us off, right, in the crypto space for decades, right? All over a decade, right? They've been paying all of that money to miners, right? Which has created an economy and skyrocketed the price of electricity, right? Because of the power required, right? To create that cryptocurrency, right? And I'm speaking specifically when it comes to Bitcoin, right? And then miners, right? And understand with Ethereum, it doesn't have a fixed supply, right? So it's not an inflationary token, right? So when we look at Sonic, right? Sonic is basically redefining the Web3 space, right? With the technology that they're introduced. And they have a very, very talented team with Andre Cronje, right? Who is, a genius in the Web3 space, right? He's created several successful projects. He's been with the Phantom team, right? Kind of left, got a little frustrated, right? But once Michael came in and they rebranded as Sonic, right? The development on this platform has been truly amazing, right? So let me jump into, definitely you want to create an account on web3btc.app, right? You can come in there, create an account, right? And then just keep it on your phone, and whenever you check it once a day, you'll get our updates, right? Or you can start to plug into our training and our courses and the educational part of the platform that's going to be rolled out over the next few weeks, right? As we build out the platform. But let's go into the presentation. This is a new presentation we created. So this is the first time some of you will see this or are seeing this, right? So Sonic, right? Sonic is a far superior blockchain, right, than anything else out there, right? That's what's exciting about this project, right? Is that we are at the launch of a new blockchain, a new EVM1 blockchain, right? Other smart contracts out there can't tell you, unless they're on Sonic, they don't have that advantage, right? We're at the beginning of the launch of a new blockchain, a new EVM1 blockchain, and a new blockchain that's coming in, clocking over 400,000 transactions per second, right? That's the max throughput, right? With sub-second finality, right? Instant confirmations, right? With a direct gateway from Ethereum, right? That we are the only, right, blockchain that has a completely decentralized, right, tunnel into Ethereum that's built by the blockchain, right? No one else has that, right? So there's a lot of things that separate Sonic from every other blockchain, right? And because they're giving 90% of the transaction fees back to the developers, right? You see a lot of development already starting to happen on Sonic, right? We've already skyrocketed in TVL, right, into the top 20, right, within 3 months, right, of all the millions of tokens out there, right, all of the thousands of different tokens and hundreds of different blockchains out there, right? Sonic has already skyrocketed into the top 20, right, in TVL, right? And that's development. App volume, right? We're dominating app volume, right? That's app revenue for developers, right? We're completely destroying. So their model is working, right? So it's only a matter of time before we feel that the rest of the community is going to catch on to what's going on, right? And Sonic is just going to be a force to be reckoned with, right? So obviously our focus is on smart contracts, right? We believe smart contracts are the future, right? We believe that everything is going to be on the blockchain and it's going to be powered by smart contracts, right? The automation that comes with smart contracts, right? Now, when you also tie that in to AI technology, right? And you can build AI agents on the blockchain and automate them, right? This is the future, right? This is the technology that's way ahead of its time, right? It's still a little early, right? AI is still developing, right? But it's very, very powerful in terms of what it can do. And especially in our space, right? Where it comes to, creating content, right? Videos and images and marketing materials and stuff like that, right? Usually you have to wait for the company to provide that with you, right? Here we have the ability to use AI, right? To create that content and to brand ourselves and to separate ourselves from our competition, right? And one of the things, that I like about this project is that we're not competing against each other, right? We're one big happy community, right? We're sharing, right? If people, this is not a business opportunity. I'm not here to sell you anything or convince you that this is something you're doing. This is something that I am doing, right? And I share with my team and the ones that are taking are paying attention, right, and are taking action, right, they're getting results with this platform. And the beauty of that is that you do not have to give up control of your cryptocurrency, right? You're using a smart contract, right, to record a transaction on the blockchain, but you still have access to that asset. And if you change your mind, you can instantly reverse that transaction, right? In unstake, right? And get your funds immediately sent back to your wallet, right? You're not using an exchange, you're not using a centralized exchange, right? And that's the beauty of smart contracts, right? Is the security, right? The instant payments, right? The ability for this blockchain, specifically this blockchain, right, to connect to multiple different blockchains, right? And tap into that money. If you look at the Sonic logo, you'll see how they designed it, right? It's basically a path into Sonic, right? It's a funnel into Sonic, right? Very, very subtle how they did that, right? But they know what they're doing, right? Sonic is going to dominate this space, right? When it comes to smart contracts and when it comes to gaming, right? And GameFi, right? And DeFi, right? Decentralized finance, right? Sonic, Andre worked for the banking system, right? Before he got into the blockchain space, right? So he understands that side of the industry, right? And he wants to completely revolutionize, right? The forex industry, right? The commodities industry, right? The stock market, right? They have control of that, right? But any type of decentralized finance, right? Sonic is going to dominate that just by the strength of their technology, right? So we're super excited that we're one of the first smart contracts to deploy on Sonic, and we haven't applied for the fee M structure as yet, right? We need to increase the amount of transactions that we're processing per day, right? In order to, make a good case, right? That we've built an amazing smart contract that the community loves, right? And is sharing with people, right? So as we start to process those, now remember, these transactions are accruing right now, right? So while we can't claim them yet, right, we're still earning them, right? And potentially, right? So that was one of the things that I was able to convince the developer, right, to help me build this project, right? Because we didn't have a lot of startup capital to build it, right? Is because of the potential for that 90% payout, right, on all the transaction fees, right? And we're talking billions and billions of dollars right now that's going to the Ethereum network and that's going to the Binance network, right? And some of these other blockchains, right? So very, very exciting stuff, right? But with Sonic, it's the speed, right? It's the liquidity, it's the first mover advantage, right? The gas fee monetization, right? Transaction speed, right? Low cost, 0.01 per transaction. Go to any other layer two transactions, and you can't even get lower transaction fees than that, right? Because they're depending on Ethereum, right? Or they're depending on Binance, right? Which is what? Five, six, $700. Ethereum's close to $2,000, right? So they can't reduce their transaction fees, right? So no matter how fast they get and how much they lower their transaction fees, Sonic will always destroy them, right? When it comes to transaction fees, right? On any layer two blockchain, we will completely destroy, right? Because of our how we process those transactions. Now, if they use their default token, right, that's a different story. But if they're trying to tap into any other token on their blockchain, right? Like Bitcoin or Ethereum, right? They can't compete with us, right? So very, very cool stuff, right? Obviously, this is a very, very exciting project, right? That we're very happy to be a part of, right? So let me run into the presentation for Web3 Sonic. Web3 Sonic is a Sonic smart contract, right? That does instant 100% payouts in Sonic tokens, right? Straight to your wallet, right? You have a dashboard, you have 10 different levels, starting at level 1 for 5 Sonic, level 2, 10 Sonic. It doubles each level, right? It's a total of 5,115 Sonic to completely max out the comp plan, right? Less than $2,500 to completely max out the Sonic version. Now we are going to be adding additional tokens, like I said, right? The stablecoin USDC, right, on the Sonic blockchain, and wrapped Bitcoin, right, is coming next, right? We're currently working on those two projects, right, which will give people an opportunity to earn in a stable coin, right, and then use that stable coin to purchase whatever assets they want, right? Or participate in the numerous staking opportunities that we have, right? With very, very good returns, right? Safe and secure. And then of course Bitcoin, right? We know that Bitcoin is going to push to 125, 150, 250, maybe even a million, right? Just based on economics, right? Simple supply and demand. There's only going to be 18 million Bitcoin probably max in existence or circulating, right? And that's not even circulating, right? That's a lot of people, right? If you listen to the president, the last couple of days since his little thing, he told everyone, no one sells their Bitcoin. Now he heard that phrase, right? He was never, he didn't always believe that, right? But that's the truth. Do not sell your crypto, right? You acquire, think the long game, right? Acquire as much digital assets as you can and hold on to them for dear life, right? Because the transformation that we're going to see, right, within the next 6 months, within the next year, right? We're never going to have that opportunity again, right? The speed of how things are going to move right now is what's exciting about the time that we're in right now, right? So first mover advantage, right? And again, this platform is powered by the multi-gain smart contract on the Sonic blockchain. It pays out instantly in Sonic tokens, right? And then you can swap those Sonic tokens for multiple different things. One of the things I'll show you real quick here is if you go to the Web3 BTC platform, we just implemented this today, right? You can now swap your Sonic tokens, right? For, let's say you wanted to swap your Sonic tokens for Shadow, right? You can swap it for shadow directly on the platform right now, right? So we've integrated our swap, which is very, very cool. You can use this platform for pretty much everything that you need to do on the Sonic blockchain right now. But anyway, back to the presentation. I didn't want to forget about that because I just pretty excited about that. All right, so how does this system work, right? Well, it pays out instantly 100% on all your odd referrals, right? So your first referral, your third referral, your fifth referral, your seventh referral, there's no limits to how many people you can refer to this system, right? It's completely, truly unlimited width, right? And unlimited depth. Right now, you only get paid 4 levels below you, right? But you could potentially have thousands of people on your fourth level, right? This smart contract does not need a lot of people, right, for you to earn, right? We're more here about education, right, and teaching you how to benefit from participating in a proof of stake blockchain such as Sonic, right? And what that means is all you need to do to earn is to hold the asset, right? Hold on to the asset, keep it in your wallet, keep it in your Web3 wallet, and you're earning points. You're participating in an airdrop. You share the platform with other people. You're earning 100% referral commissions. And then on the even side, right, which is your right side, if you're looking at it as a binary, right? Anybody that falls on your right side or your even side, you're getting 25% direct referral commission and you're earning 75% on all of their volume, right? All of their even volume, right? So obviously the 100% everyone is getting, right? Every time there's 100% commission, you keep that, right? Anything that's falling into the team building side of things, right? You're earning 25%. Very, very simple plan, very easy to understand. And we're going to be creating some real nice compensation plan videos that kind of explain that because a picture is worth 1,000 words. And so we're working on developing that right now, right? A calculator that you can play with, right? On the website, and you just put in the numbers, and it'll calculate for you, and it'll give you a visual representation of how your network's building, right? But very, very cool platform. I'm very happy to be a part of it and help develop this on the Sonic blockchain. But in order to participate in this platform, you need a Web3 wallet, right? The wallet that we use and recommend is the Rabi wallet, right? If you're using our AI-powered marketing system, the E1U marketing system, you need a Bitcoin wallet, right? So SafePal, right? Or Rabi. The website is rabi.io, and I'll show you that real quick. Rabi.io. You can download it for your browser, right? So if you're using Chrome or Firefox, right? Hopefully you're not using Edge. And you can download it on your mobile, right? Your iPhone or Android from the App Store, right? This is what the interface looks like on the phone, right? And there is a dApp browser. So you see here it's connected, right? You can connect that. Always make sure the network says Sonic, right? This is how you change the network. So when you come into the wallet, always make sure, right, that you're on the Sonic blockchain before you connect to the website, right? Because that's how it's authenticating. Anyway, let's go back to the presentation and we'll finish that up. Like I said, the total cost is 5,115 Sonic to completely max out the comp plan, right? You have to join level 1, right, and upgrade as to level 2, level 3, level 4, level 5, right? You can't just jump to level 5, right? You have to do them in order. But it is a one-time activation. So once you activate it, you don't ever have to do it again, right? And that each level becomes an income stream for you. Each person you refer to this platform is a pay line, right? Is an infinite pay line, right? And people may leave and go, they may sign up and get distracted with other nonsense, but I guarantee you they're coming back, right? Because why? Because we're not going anywhere, right? This platform will just continue to get better and better, right? And Sonic will continue to go up and up and up, right? So right now we have about less than 2,000, around 20, less than 2,500, right? Somewhere, last time I checked, it was 22, somewhere around there, 22, 23, 100 members, right? So not a lot of people know about this platform. We have been in build mode since launch, right? There's a lot of, I'm a developer. I'm an active developer, right? So I'm never done building, right? So you will always continue to see really, really cool things coming out of this platform as we go. But the foundation, the smart contract, right, that does not change, right? There's 10 levels, you get paid in Sonic, and that will never change. Right now, we will continue to add additional tokens to the platform, right? Like we have our own token coming, and lots of cool things I have planned for that. But it's going to be a very, very private launch when we first launch it, before it opens up and becomes available, right? Because the people who are going to be holding that token are just going to have all kinds of cool ways to earn with this platform, right? So lots of cool things there. You need at least 5 Sonic to activate, right? So keep 1 Sonic in your wallet for transaction fees, right? The transaction fee on each Sonic transaction is 0.01 Sonic, right? So less than 10% of 1 Sonic, right, will be the transaction fee, 0.01. Right? Depending on what the USD value of Sonic is, right? That's what's fluctuating. But the transaction fees on Sonic are always fixed at 0.01 per transaction, right? Or less, right? So that's the max there. So set up your wallet, set up your Web3 wallet, set up Rabby on your phone, and then you need to get some Sonic, right? Get back to the person who invited you, right? They already have their account active. They more than likely they're earning Sonic, right? And they have Sonic in their wallet, right? So they can help you fund your wallet, right? That's the easiest way to get into the system, right? Is to get back to the person who invited you and say, hey, can you send me some Sonic so I can register and see the dashboard, right? That's the next thing we're working on right now is updating the dashboard for the smart contracts, right? We've been working very hard on the back end, right, to make sure that this system is strong, and we've been relentlessly attacked since launch for whatever reason, right? And I have my own theories there, but I won't go into them on this call. But unfortunately, your competition sees you as a threat, right? And they will attack your platform. So it just made us stronger, right? We have multiple redundancies built into the platform right now, right? So, you shut down one link, right? We'll that's fine, right? You can't block us. That's the only point that they can use, right? But keep in mind, this is not a smart contract. This is not a website, right? It's a smart contract, right? It's a permanent record on the blockchain. No one can shut it down, right? No one can terminate. We may have tech issues, we may have server issues, we may have to scale up, right, as we grow, right? But this platform is not going anywhere. It's built to last on a very, very solid foundation, right? So some of the key features are security, right? The built-in security that comes with an EVM layer 1 blockchain. And EVM stands for Ethereum Virtual Machine, right? So Sonic is at its core, right, is a fork of Ethereum, right? And same with all EVM1 blockchains, right? They fork so that they maintain that compatibility with Ethereum, and then they optimize it, right? And what Sonic has done is they've optimized the virtual machine layer, and they've optimized the database level, right? Also, they're the way they process the blocks, right, is much more optimized. Instead of processing blocks sequentially, right, Sonic does a very interesting way in terms of how they verify those blocks, right? Which is highly optimized. Obviously, the transparency that comes with a smart contract, right? Everything is verified on the blockchain, right? You can go directly to the blockchain and you can see the transactions and you can verify that you're getting paid, right? Even if you're not looking on your wallet in your wallet, right? Now, smart contract transactions or internal transactions, right? They're not like a traditional send and receive, right? So you have to look on the internal transaction section of the smart contract in order to see those transactions, right? But there's bots, right? If you have Telegram, you can install a bot that monitors your wallet address and it will notify you every time there's an incoming transaction, right? And we give that to you for free. You can set that up if you have Telegram. Telegram is another powerful platform that has a very nice blockchain, and we are looking forward to doing some things there also, right? But instant payouts, right? And we try to make the interface as simple and user friendly for you, right? Once you activate your position in a smart contract, there's really nothing else that you need to do. You get an ID number and you share that ID number with people, right? If they sign up, you get paid instantly, right? You don't have to watch it or monitor it or trust it's going to work, right? It works, right? It's built on a smart contract and it cannot be changed, right? The code is immutable, right? It can't be altered. Now it can be upgraded and replaced, right? But that's not an easy process, right? Because you have to migrate all the users over to the new smart contract. So we've done that a few times when we migrated from OPBNB over to Sonic. That's how we did it. We migrated all of our users over when we deployed the new smart contract, right? And let me change this so I don't forget, right? Decentralized Sonic Labs network. All right. So again, yes, this is our current roadmap. We deployed on OPBNB. We have two tokens there, USDT and the BNB token. And then in actually December of last year, we deployed on the Sonic blockchain, right? This is a DApp or a decentralized application, right? We have our own token coming. We have our own mobile app and lots of cool things planned with this project, right? So what exactly is Web3 Sonic, right? It's just a decentralized platform that's built on the Sonic blockchain, right? And I'll update this for the next presentation. But the Sonic blockchain, right, is the key foundation, right, of why this platform is so exciting, right? So learn about Sonic, learn about the token, right? Now the symbol for Sonic is S, right? It's not Sonic, right? So when you look it up, make sure you're looking up the S token, right? To get started, like I said, first step is to download and set up the Robbie wallet, Robbie.io, right? And then you want to fund your wallet, right? You can connect your wallet to the Sonic Labs website and you can swap from Ethereum, right? Or like I said, you can use the swap that's built into our platform, right? To acquire some Sonic, right? You need to have cryptocurrency. We do not support fiat, right? But you can use your Visa or your MasterCard, right, to purchase here by clicking on this link, right? Depending on where you're located, right? Again, we don't control that, right? But the easiest way is to have some type of cryptocurrency, and then you can swap that cryptocurrency for Sonic, and then you can activate your position in the smart contract, and you can go back and forth, right? So that is our presentation for Web3 Sonic. I will go ahead and stop right now. Let's see.